Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, February 14th, 2023. For those of you that are coupled, happy Valentine's Day. Should be called Happy Love Day. We'll be having a time for change call tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Love is the only thing you get more of by giving it away. Key Wilson. There are two types of people in this world: those who are driven and those who live beyond their ego. Those who are driven and those who live beyond their ego. The ego-based person is stuck in a fear-based survival thinking pattern created from societal conditioning and previous emotional wounding. This causes them to believe they are separate from the God source. The second type of person is a soul-based individual who knows they are an infinite being who is deeply loved, cherished, and divinely connected to the most sacred, intelligent source of life in this universe. The biggest distinction between these two groups is the relationship each has with their own mind. The ego-based person has not taken the time to stop their mind chatter long enough to look inside, relax deeply, trust completely, and bathe in the divine essence within. The soul-based individual has stopped long enough to feel their wounding, drop out of their head beneath their angry victim story and into the heart of their feelings, where peace and humility abide. The soul-based individual is at peace with life, shares daily the exquisite experience of deep eternal love that radiates naturally from their core. When we take time to stop and quiet the mind, we will eventually feel this deeply eternal, all-loving presence inside of us. Only then do we have something truly valuable to give. Otherwise, our energy and attitude is much like a beggar who has little to offer because the ego's main agenda and scheme is all about what's in it for me. This ego-based mentality lives a desperate life, secretly hoping for a morsel of appreciation by the end of the day. The ego is continuously out to get something because it doesn't see, feel, or believe that it's already connected to an infinite, abundant, loving God source. The ego mind is the begging bowl, always on the prowl to get, obtain, and receive that next thing from the outer world that will make it happy. Love is not a quantity, it is a quality. And the quality of certain category, it grows by giving and dies if you hold it. If you are miserly about it, it dies. To be really a spendthrift. Don't bother to whom, Osho. The practice of giving freely to others without expectation of anything in return is a very, is a very enlightened state to reach. When we don't expect a gift, compliment, a thank you, or even a simple acknowledgement from the other, you're liberating yourself from the limiting prison of the ego. The dangerous part only arises in this enlightened giving approach when you get caught in the fear of being taken advantage of. This again is the ego in a deep disguise. We are all taking advantage of the sun, yet it doesn't mind. It's just doing its service. It doesn't need anything in return. Be like the sun. Be an infinite giving source of lightness for all to enjoy. The sun is the most enlightened source of light in our physical world. A new type of thinking is essential if mankind is to survive and move to higher levels. Albert Einstein, a whole new way of thinking, of believing, of imagining. Anytime our minds get wrapped up in feeling needy or demanding, it simply means we've stopped realizing that we have an infinite source of love inside of us. The truth is that the sun never stops shining. Only clouds get in the way of its light. The ego is like a big shadow that is constantly afraid we won't get what we want. It's always demanding that life is different than what it is. The ego is never happy, constantly complaining, and simply never ever satisfied. It doesn't know how to relax and be content with what it is and with what is. If you receive one morsel of appreciation, a few minutes later the ego's begging bowl is empty again, seeking the next nugget of love to appease its empty, burning existence. My invitation for you is radical. It is to live a life that is truly free from suffering. I want you to experience what it's like to be a gigantic bowl of love and lightness for you and the world, this world, to enjoy. I want you to celebrate your life each moment that you are here in a way that inspires every being in your presence to do the same. The pure joy of selfless giving yields only ecstatic results in your life. There is no fear, no expectations, and no attachments. Your ego listens to you, its master, and this is a very powerful way to live your life. The invitation is yours to take this opportunity right now to practice refining your giving habit with your friends and family. Become super conscious that every message you give to others is one that comes from the infinite sun within you. Give up all identification with your shadow side and merge with your enlightened true nature. Be radiant, warm, generous, and full of lightness. The sun gives life to all beings around the world from the warmth it creates inside, which it gives deeply and eternally away. Feel this lightness in yourself as you're giving it away to others. In a few days, you'll either be floating on cloud 9 or over bubbling with tremendous giddiness inside. Each time, each moment of life is an opportunity to know yourself as the infinite source of love that you already are. The best way to experience it is to behave like the sun and give your light away. Each day, you're given thousands of opportunities to practice. Today, you will most likely give someone your attention or offer them a smile. Try having no attachment to what comes back in return and see how freeing that feels. Then give someone else a positive message, a hug, a gentle listening ear, a generous gesture, a look of acceptance, or simply gentle eyes that say everything is okay. Practice giving for the experience of being radiant, deeply eternal, having no expectations, like the infinite sun. You were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with ideals and dreams. You were born with greatness. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly, Rumi. Remember, we are physically here for a short time and have some amazing experiences ahead of us. The best one by far is being the source of deep eternal love, which we get to instantly experience by giving it away. You see, we can only give ourselves away in two unique ways. As if we were the infinite source or the ego shadow. The more aware we are of how we are giving and what hidden expectations we have, the easier it becomes to let go and radiate deep eternal love to all human beings. The big question to ask ourselves is, what do we feel we're missing inside ourselves that the other needs to give us? Look deeply, and you might be able to see what your core wounding is all about so it can heal. The act of enlightened giving is profoundly healing and deeply satisfying. Do it enough, and the ego has to relax its desperate search. By giving love, gifts, compliments, kind gestures, and any form of generosity, without any hidden assumption that you'll receive anything back in return, the ego has to let go and surrender. It must find peace within its own home and trust that it will be taken care of in the future ahead. In truth, the ego has nothing to worry about. As the law of attraction states, like attracts like. With every action, there is an equal reaction. Since this law is always in effect, chances are 100% that you will receive something in equal or even greater value for what you give away. The only issue is when there is an expectation or assumption attached to your gift. Giving to get something is a form of control and manipulation and comes from poverty consciousness. Only through the enlightened practice of giving from the heart in a non-attached manner will you discover the enlightened path beneath your very feet. If you meditate and the devil comes, make the devil meditate. If you meditate and the devil comes, make the devil meditate. Imagine if every person, corporation, and small business in this world followed the higher path of giving. Imagine if every person, corporation, and small business in this world followed the higher path of giving. Can you imagine how liberated human beings would be? What if your whole community acted this way? What would life be like then? What if you made this into your personal life mission? Does that excite you? How would you feel by the end of your life? The secret to spreading this gift is that you apply it daily in your own life and practice it with everyone. It's highly contagious, and you'll continue doing it as you notice how you feel by the end of the day. Start your day with looking at how you want to give love to others at work, home, and every moment in between. Do you expect to get back anything from these people? What about those you bend over backwards for? What do you expect to get back from them? What did you believe you deserved to get back from your kids, parents, friends, and intimate relationships? These expectations are where you live in a prison. They are assumptions based in the idea that you're not connected to the infinite source of love already. Don't miss out on the freedom, love, and joy of what it's like to be an infinite, unbounded soul who is truly alive. In most societies, we will find there's a collective assumed expectation that we should receive money, energy, love, or something back from a person when you give them something. People will agree with you because everyone is afraid of being a doormat. Yet, what most don't realize is they are defeating themselves by living as a small, limited, needy ego trip. The fear of being a doormat causes one to feel tiny and react from fear. When the God Source is an alive presence in your life, you are fearless and need nothing. You are the sun and the sunshine itself. All the love and warmth you need is already within you, provided for you all the time. The ego, of course, will not trust in this. Yet what does the ego trust 100% in? When this experience of selfless giving is repeated daily, you will eventually become reborn. You'll get into the habit of it and liberate yourself completely from the needy, demanding ego. Purely giving yourself your love and your life every day will completely free you from any attachment to your past and future, and this creates the experience of the enlightened state. Enlightenment is like a seed that needs a breeding ground to develop, and the vibrant fields of selfless giving are the richest soil you can find. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. Robert Louis Stevenson. Giving for the pure pleasure, experience, and joy of giving is the highest path you can walk. It's not an easy one at first, as you must constantly take leaps of faith into the unknown. When you give without expectation, only then do you carry the ability to help others find real love, joy, and happiness. You can light up a child's face for hours, and this experience is priceless. When we live in unbounded generosity, we're enjoying the experience of seeing other people happy, and thus become even happier ourselves. We release all patterns of being jealous, controlling, needing, and experience the pure joy of feeling abundant, rich with life, and free. We are lifting everyone up naturally through living a life that we truly love. Giving for the experience of giving also creates true abundance consciousness in our lives. This practice is what expands our emotional net worth. When we give from true abundance consciousness, we increase the value of you. When we do not request anything in return, we are trusting this universe, knowing it will always provide more. We embody the state of unlimited wealth because we're honoring the law of infinite supply. This means that the more love we give away today, the more love we will have to give tomorrow. Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. Yoda. Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose. It's good to know that everything in this life is temporary. We temporarily have use of these bodies, minds, the opportunity to experience this life through it. Every second of our existence is precious. It is here to be enjoyed. When we can share something that we temporarily have with another person who temporarily does not have that thing, this gesture generates feelings of abundance. We then become the divine overflow. We suddenly open to become a channel of the infinite supply, and it pours on through. The giving sensation and pay it forward feeling is powerful and contagious. The more you give, the more you want to give, and the more you have to give. Eventually, we forget about our egos with its lack, fears, worries, doubts, and concerns that have plagued us our entire lives. In this enlightening giving experience, the ego doesn't get a chance to take the stage. It gets unnoticed. All of our previous frustrations and disappointments take the back burner. And in time, all of our worries, problems, and issues simply fade away. The highest reward for an act of kindness is not what you get by doing it, but what you become by doing it. The challenge here is to be patient on this journey, for the ego is very impatient and will try to rush you. It will try to manipulate you to think the other must give something back. The fearful ego is always in the back row, secretly in gear, trying desperately to avoid the experience of being hurt, taken advantage of, stepped on, or live in poverty. The ego does not want to lose control on any level. It does not know the joy of surrendering to the divine. The greatest lesson here is to acknowledge that you, all of us, are already abundant. Kingdom of love is within. Our souls are eternal and are already divine. We simply haven't practiced feeling it. Give as much as you can without feeling depleted. Make your life a grand adventure in becoming serene and selfless. As long as you're aware of the infinite supply of love inside you, by the end of each day, you will never feel depleted. Think of yourself as a billionaire of love. And you're making a new billion love vibes every minute to happily give away. You'll know you're doing it right when you feel the joy as you practice giving it. You will truly feel fulfilled and won't be lost in some past, future desire wishing you had more of XYZ. With practice, we will all find this enlightening giving totally transforms how we feel about ourselves, this world, and everyone in it. Remember, this life is not about cutting out those who you didn't get along with, those who have upset you, negated you, judged you, and belittled you, are those who know themselves only as the ego shadow. They give away negative qualities because that's all they see inside. If you want to help them, Start with giving them the gift of gratitude, thanking them for making you aware of where you were still in pain and ego and easily triggered by this life. Appreciate them in a way that is sincere and loving. Love is the bridge between you and everything, Rumi. This life that we're all in this present moment, is about becoming more sensitive, trusting, and authentic. Be sensitive to the point that you realize you are the highest consciousness itself. Know that you are potentially a living Buddha or Christ. Buddha or Christ. Both words mean enlightened one. That isn't a person. It is a definition. Other people's unconscious reactions and negative attitudes will help us see that negativity inside us, which still needs to be released. Everything and everyone is here so we can wake up, enlighten ourselves, experience even higher states of lightness and happiness. We are here to let go and become one with the divine. By implementing this enlightened giving practice every day, the most enlightened state will eventually find you. It will grow naturally within you. And this is by far the greatest gift you could ever give yourself. This is not an exercise in pumping up your ego's muscle. It's not about creating feelings of superiority or the need to feel special. It's much easier than that. This life that we're all experiencing is a big let go. It's about finding the most enjoyable, easiest, enlightened approach, which ultimately is about abiding in that which is beyond the mind. Our thoughts and feelings are the superhighways to take us home. Yet they can also cause a traffic jam if you don't know who's driving. The light of pure awareness itself is that which shines forever, lighting our path every day. It is the fuel behind each and every experience. Don't pay attention to the mind. It is your servant, here to serve you. If and when you always have to work at getting rid of thoughts which are negative, burdensome, tiresome, and heavy, that will wear you out. Just rest in the source of pure awareness. The illiterate of the 21st century are not those who cannot read nor write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Alvin Toffler. Naturally, our innermost nature is already awake, bright, and free. We are already enlightened. This enlightened nature becomes more evident the more we practice giving it away. Higher consciousness begets more consciousness and increases the tendency to generate more love, generosity, and kindness. You will soon find that everyone starts giving everything they can to give you. The more we enjoy giving freely to others, the more others freely desire to give us something back from the same liberating place. It is the path of enlightened reciprocation. As long as you're still alive on this planet, you have an infinite supply of love to give away. You might as well give it and enjoy the kickbacks. Let yourself relish in the feeling of letting go and letting the love flow. Do what makes you feel good inside at the core. Make it your mission to do one random conscious act of kindness every day. This one thing will create many miracles in your life. If your mind should get stuck and keep thinking all night about what you should be getting back in return, just acknowledge the mind. Give it a morsel of love. Know who is truly in charge, ego or love. Let the ego know it is taken care of by this universe so it can relax. Let go and trust in the future. This one enlightened message will provide more long-term joy than you can possibly imagine. For years and years and years, I have researched a very ancient science we now call manifesting, which teaches us how to attract what we want based on the thoughts we think. It's not easy controlling the mind, nor getting the mind to always think positive. This is where our statements or mantras or manifesting words, frequencies. When we move into not really a commitment, but more so a devotion. And now I'm not talking about devotion where you hide away somewhere in a convent or a monastery. One of the great challenges for us to choose a life of devotion is that we may fear losing ourselves in the beliefs, heart, mind, or life of our beloved. We might fall into some codependent relationship feeling an addiction to them. This can be anything, where we may become obsessed by a need for their approval of our every action, belief, and life decision. In this unhealthy state, our beloved becomes like the sun, and we become the earth revolving around them. When we remember that we are the sun, and our beloved is just another sun spirit we've met along the way, we can feel that they are actually revolving around our life as well. From this perspective, we experience what a healthy, devoted relationship is like. And the important one is with you to begin with. These two bodies gravitationally spin around each other in a natural, respectful, meaningful, and magnetic way. In a healthy state of devotion, we are seeing the bigger picture. Our feet are rooted into the ground beneath us, and our branches are extended up and out into the stars. We are not clinging to anyone or anything. We are relaxed in our own essence, feeling alive, conscious, and appreciating each moment of existence. There is a great reverence each day we have to be in relationship with our beloved. The beloved can be you, the God within you. We know it all can end in any moment, and thus never take it for granted. There is a solid feeling of connection to the love shard, without depending on it to find the love within ourselves. In this healthy state of devotion, we feel connected with everyone and everything in our world. Love is one of the most dangerous explorations in this life because it is the most rewarding. In order to experience real love, we must completely lose ourselves to it. We must become so devoted to the real feeling of love, the essence of love, that is free from attachment, fear, and possession. We must choose to walk that very fine line between losing ourselves in a healthy or unhealthy way in a devoted relationship. We must choose to take the risk to see ourselves at the beloved, as the beloved sees us, and know that it is our own innocent hearts we are longing to connect with when the day finally comes to an end. As long as our relationship with ourselves remains the main priority, we will remain in a healthy state of devotion. You will be aligned to your soul's purpose and thus be able to show up with the greatest love to give. When you live in fear of losing yourself to your beloved, there is this clinging to your ego, and you end up resisting love, fearing its power, and then not allowing your ego to surrender fully into it. As long as the ego remains in control, love will be kept on the sideline. When we can realize that our hearts are the main source of love, the infinite source of love itself, we can share this love endlessly and stop withholding it from others in our lives. As we walk on the path of devotion, we might discover how the ego is an absolute genius at missing the truth. It cannot imagine that there is a bigger love to experience on the inside than what it thinks is on the outside. It is only through exploring total devotion to our souls, our spirits, and infinite selves that the sacred meeting of deeply eternal love is discovered between you and your beloved. This is the one vital truth to be realized that will let a continual stream of joy flow through your life. When you surrender completely to this infinite source that connects your heart and your soul, you will always rise and fall in love with your beloved. Then you can relax fully into the devotional experience. You are free from the fear of codependency and are no longer worried about becoming lost in the mind and the life of your beloved. You become so rooted in the exploration of deep eternal love within yourself that you can allow yourself to take risks, love deeper, be foolish in how much you love, and continuously fall further into love with your beloved over and over and over again. As you dissolve into love, your ego fades. You're not thinking about loving, you're just being love, radiating like the sun from dusk. Every one of us wishes we had the courage to live a life overflowing with an abundance of joy and love. Yet, to reach this level of love means we must choose to surrender through every fear we are gripping onto. We must choose to let go of control and trust that love is the greatest guide we will ever find. We must choose to devote our entire hearts, minds to the idea and feeling of being in love with ourselves and our lives. This is the place where the heart never ever closes down for any reason whatsoever. When we are truly devoted to ourselves, to finding the greatest love within our own heart, we find that love has and was always there, always waiting to show us the way home. The other big issue everyone comes eventually across is that the ego is the most tenacious master of resisting love. It is always cautious and skeptical about falling in love, and feels devotion is only for the weak and the needy. The ego simply doesn't trust love, because if it felt what love really was, it would itself die. It would have to give up all its strategies for protecting itself from love and learn the path of surrender. The ego only knows control and separation, me versus you, and avoids falling into the ultimate state of love at all costs, because it knows it has no control in the space. The more we can surrender to trusting love, the more we will find that love pours into every wounded crack and crevice hidden in our being. It is only through giving up our attachment to our egos that we find what real love is all about. We must choose to lose our small self to discover our big self, which is constantly growing and evolving in love, always being reborn, fresh, and new. At the highest level of awareness, all devotion is devotion to the self. The self is omnipresent, alive, and conscious within all beings. When you know this, see this, and honor this truth, you simply give up all limited approaches to love and upgrade it for this higher version of reality. From this space, we can be totally devoted to a partner, friend, child, family, or any person for that matter. We then can lose ourselves completely in that experience, because we know that ultimately it is a form of devotion to who we truly are. There's no separation from ourselves and our beloved. Our beloved is our perfect mirror, reflecting back to us all the multidimensional aspects inside ourselves that we cannot see. It is through seeing the one self, realizing its awesome power, that we can stop being afraid of devotion. It is our devotion to this highest state of awareness, seeing the one self in all beings, that actually enables us to be free. We are no longer limited by our expression, bound by our beliefs, or stuck in suppression. In devotion to the one, we gain access to the deepest levels of joy, freedom, and truth. We are no longer fearing love, yet only in gratitude and reverence of it. This sacred relationship allows us to reveal our highest life purpose and direction. It is only from this place that real everlasting happiness is truly found. This state of being knows that this life is truly perfect, just as it is. And there is absolutely nothing we need to do to make it better in any possible way. Be lamps unto yourselves. Be refugees or refuges unto yourselves. Look not for a refuge in anyone besides yourselves. Buddha. I'll join you in meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and a slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. You don't have to be perfect to be lovable. You can call off this exhausting search to feel loved and accepted by others today. What you are seeking is actually a deeper connection with your own heart. To find it, simply relax into the softest, lightest, loving energy that you can imagine in your heart. All the heart of is the greatest source of love, friendship, and freedom. Be patient, breathe slowly, deeply, and wait for it. The cosmic lightness is flooding in. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night. In the following morning, we will return here, Wednesday, February 15th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our Time for Change call. Be good, kind, generous, humble with yourselves. Be always in deep gratitude.